Imagine this: federal agents storming your neighborhood, tearing families apart based on nothing more than the color of your skin. And now, the Supreme Court just gave them the green light to keep going. What if it was your community next? Welcome back to Libo News, where we dive deep into the stories shaping America today. In a bombshell ruling that's sending shockwaves through Los Angeles, the Supreme Court has lifted a temporary ban on controversial immigration raids, reigniting fears in a city where immigrants are the backbone of everyday life. But why is this happening now, and what does it really mean for millions of people? Stick around as we break it down, from the raw emotions on the ground to the legal battles ahead, and why this could signal a turning point in America's immigration saga. Let's start with the immediate fallout. In Los Angeles County, home to over 10 million people where 1 in 3 are immigrants and nearly half are Latino, Monday's decision hit like a thunderclap. Non-citizens and their families are bracing for what could feel like an endless cycle of fear. Remember those chaotic raids over the summer? Thousands arrested, protests erupting, businesses grinding to a halt. Now, the Department of Homeland Security is vowing to flood the zone in LA, as they posted on X right after the ruling. Critics are calling it indiscriminate, while supporters say it's about upholding the rule of law. But here's the hook that keeps you watching. Reports of at least 2 deaths linked to these operations, and whispers that things could get even more aggressive. Is this the new normal, or a recipe for disaster? To understand why this ruling matters so much, we need to peel back the layers. At its core, this stems from a lawsuit filed by groups like the ACLU of Southern California and Public Counsel. They argued that Border Patrol's roving patrols in Southern California violated the Fourth Amendment by targeting people based on race, language, job, or location, factors that, alone or combined, don't add up to reasonable suspicion under the Constitution. A federal judge agreed back in July, issuing a temporary restraining order that covered 7 counties, including LA. It seemed like a win for due process, halting the sweeps that had agents showing up at car washes, Home Depots, and even bus stops. But the Supreme Court, in a 6-3 decision, struck that down while the case winds through lower courts. Why? The government argued the order was too broad, hampering their ability to enforce immigration laws. Trump's administration is pushing hard on this, vowing to ramp up raids in sanctuary cities like LA and Chicago. Supporters, including DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin, frame it as a victory for public safety, targeting murderers, rapists, gang members, and other criminal illegal aliens. And Border Patrol leaders like Gregory Bovino are doubling down, posting on X that their tactics are backed by a century of case law and expertise. They insist it's not about race. Over half their agents are Hispanic, and they're just doing what Congress allows. Yet dig deeper, and the data tells a different story. An analysis by The Times revealed that most arrests weren't of hardened criminals. The majority had no prior convictions. This raises a big question. Is this truly about safety, or something more systemic? In American culture, where the immigrant story is woven into our national fabric, think of the waves from Europe, Asia, Latin America that built this country. These raids feel like a betrayal to many. They echo historical injustices, from Japanese internment to racial profiling post-9/11, fueling debates about whether we're upholding ideals of equality or sliding toward division. Now, let's zoom in on the human cost, because this isn't just policy, it's people's lives. Take Pepe Morales, a 55-year-old father of 4 who's lived in the U.S. for 25 years. He frequents a Home Depot in Westlake for work supplies and jobs, a spot raided at least 4 times, once with non-lethal projectiles and tear gas. "This is persecuting me and my family," he said. His kids are watching it all unfold, and he's worried about the psychological toll. They're not respecting kids or anyone. Or Angel Pineda, a 47-year-old from Honduras who dodges raids daily at the same location. The parking lot used to buzz with 300 to 400 day laborers. Now it's down to 50. Businesses are suffering too. 81 car washes raided, nearly 250 workers taken, according to the Clean Car Wash Worker Center. Flor Melendrez, its executive director, warns the violence is escalating. Workers are getting hurt, workers are dying, and it's not just undocumented folks. U.S. citizens have been detained, families split, kids left in detention alone. In LA's Latino communities, commerce has tanked, the Flower Mart in freefall, Restaurants and farms scrambling. Elizabeth Strader from the United Farm Workers urges employers to step up. Lock gates, demand warrants, protect workers. But why the deep dread? In a county where 1 in 10 is undocumented and 1 in 5 kids lives in a mixed-status family, these raids feel personal. Alfonso Barragan, a 62-year-old citizen, calls it a setback for all Latinos and immigrants, stripping due process by profiling based on skin color or accent. On the flip side, to stay neutral, let's hear from the other perspective. Immigration authorities argue they're enforcing laws passed by Congress, not inventing them. Paul Perez, president of the National Border Patrol Council, points out, "We're not stopping anybody just because of the color of their skin. They face hostility on the ground. Bystanders yelling, recording, but say it's about removing threats." Bill Asalee, Trump's top federal prosecutor in LA, echoed this on X. "If you don't like the laws, change them through Congress, not courts." And Governor Gavin Newsom's fiery response, calling the court the grand marshal for a parade of racial terror, is countered by DHS claims that sanctuary policies harbor criminals, endangering Californians. So why analyze this so deeply? Because beneath the headlines, this ruling exposes fault lines in American society. Legally, it could loop back to the Supreme Court for a final say on constitutional tactics. Politically, it's fuel for the immigration debate in an election cycle, with Trump pushing mass deportations. Economically, industries reliant on immigrant labor, farming, construction, services, could face shortages, higher costs, and ethical dilemmas. Socially, it risks eroding trust in institutions, heightening anxiety in diverse communities that power cities like LA. But here's the twist that might surprise you. Amid the chaos, community groups are mobilizing. Food drives for those hunkered down, calls to action at press conferences, lawsuits pressing on. Megan Ortiz from a nonprofit aiding day laborers fears it going to get ugly, but that resilience, organizing, advocating, is quintessentially American, turning fear into fight. As we wrap up, this isn't just an LA story, it's a mirror for the nation. Will these raids restore order, as proponents claim, or deepen divisions, as critics warn? The coming weeks in LA and beyond will tell. If you're in an affected community, no resources like immigrant rights groups are there. Stay informed, stay engaged. That's the American way. Thanks for watching Libo News. If this hit home, smash that like button, subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns, and drop your thoughts in the comments. What's your take on this ruling? We'll see you next time, because the truth matters.